Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome to my channel. If you're living alone in midlife, I want to assure you it's not automatically a sad in-between chapter. For a lot of us, especially women, it's the first time in decades that life gets quieter, calmer, and more yours. And there's real practical benefits, but some of them we don't even realize that they are benefits. Something I found very interesting was a huge international survey called the REST test. It asked more than 18,000 people in over 100 countries what they find most restful, and the top answers were mostly solo activities: reading, being in nature, listening to music, and just doing nothing in particular. And that matters because we tend to act like rest is a group activity, a brunch, a big weekend, plans, and more plans. But the stuff that actually refills people is often quiet and private. So if you live alone and you ever thought, maybe I'm doing life wrong because I'm not constantly social, reframe that. You might be living in an environment that makes deep rest easier to access, not because you never see anyone, but because you're not constantly negotiating your nervous system around someone else's moods, noise, schedule, or needs. One of the biggest benefits is the freedom to let your day have a rhythm. When you live with other people, even good people, you're always slightly adjusting. You're timing your meals around someone else. You're gauging whether it's too early to go to bed. And you're making decisions based on what won't annoy anyone. And then in midlife, especially if you've spent years being the default caretaker, you don't realize how loud that mental layer is until it's gone. Living alone removes a lot of invisible labor. You don't have to manage the emotional weather in the house. You don't have to interpret silence, and you don't have to wonder if someone else's fine is really fine. That creates space in your brain, and that extra space, it's not just relaxing, it's clarifying. You start noticing what you actually like and what you actually need. Eating healthier can become dramatically easier when you live alone. Not because you suddenly become a nutrition expert, but because there's no, can we order pizza? No, I'm not in the mood for that. And no grocery cart can be filled with snacks that you weren't even craving until someone else brought them home. If you want to eat simple whole foods, you can. If you want to do a girl dinner situation, some hummus, cucumbers, olives, and a fancy drink in a glass, no one is judging you. And if you're in a season where you're trying to support your hormones, your energy, your cholesterol, your inflammation, having total control over your kitchen is a real advantage. And it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat. You can eat slowly, you can eat early, you can eat outside. You can make it a ritual instead of another task you're doing while managing everyone else's needs. I swear, sometimes living alone is the first time women learn what they actually enjoy for dinner when they're not feeding a family. And sleep, because midlife sleep is a whole thing. If you're in perimenopause, you already know. Sleep can get lighter, hotter, more fragmented, and more unpredictable. Sometimes you wake up at 3 a.m. with your brain acting like it has a corporate presentation in the morning. And when you share your bed or even share a house, sleep becomes a team sport in the worst way. Someone snores, someone tosses, someone turns on a light, someone wants the room freezing, and someone wants it warm. Living alone can make sleep less complicated. If you need a fan, you use it. If you need 3 pillows and a weird knee cushion, great. If you need the room cold enough to store produce, do it. If you wake up at 3 a.m. and you want to read, stretch, listen to meditation, or make a cup of tea, You're not worried about disturbing anyone. And on the flip side, you're not lying there silently suffering because you don't want to wake someone else. That kind of freedom matters because good sleep isn't just nice. It changes your mood, your patience, your cravings, your anxiety, and your memory. And one of the most practical benefits of living alone is that you can build a sleep environment that is perfectly designed for your body now, not your body 10 years ago, and not someone else's preferences. Another big benefit is privacy, real privacy. Not no one can see my phone screen privacy, but the kind where you can fully relax into being yourself without commentary. You have your thoughts without narrating them. You can explore interests without explaining them. And you can change your mind without defending it. You can watch what you want, listen to what you want, and decorate how you want, and even try on new versions of yourself without feeling observed. And that's not antisocial. That's developmentally normal, especially in midlife. Midlife is full of identity shifts. Kids grow up, careers, bodies, relationships, and values all change. Living alone gives you room to hear yourself again. If you've spent years being a shapeshifter, the responsible one, the peacemaker, the partner who adapts, the mom who anticipates, privacy is where you unlearn that reflex. It's where you stop performing and start inhabiting your own life. And let's talk about tidiness, because I know some of you just smiled. When you live alone, your stuff stays where you put it. The kitchen stays how you left it. The bathroom stays how you left it. You're not stepping over someone else's shoes, towels, or half-finished projects. You're not doing the constant micro-cleaning that comes from living with other people. And here's why that's not just nice. Reliable, predictable surroundings help regulate your emotions. When your environment is orderly in a way that makes sense to you, it reduces friction and decision fatigue. It reduces that low-grade irritation that builds when you feel like you're constantly resetting the space. So yes, tidiness can be a mental health tool, not because you need to be perfect, but because your home becomes a safe, predictable container for your nervous system. And when you live alone, you can design your home around how you actually live now. You can keep the things you use within reach. You can make your space more supportive instead of more impressive. And you can shift from a home that looks right to a home that feels right. There's also a financial clarity that often comes with living alone. You know exactly where you're spending. You know what's being used, and you know where the money is going. There's no mystery shopping bag that shows up with, oh, I forgot I ordered that. And there's no quiet resentment around who pays for what. It doesn't mean living alone is cheaper, because it's not, but it can be simpler. Another benefit is that you become more intentional socially. This one surprises people, because from the outside, living alone can look like isolation. But a lot of women find that it actually improves their relationships because you're not default socializing with the same person every evening. You're choosing, you're reaching out on purpose, and you're building friendships that fit who you are now. You stop spending your limited energy on togetherness out of obligation and start spending it on meaningful connection. You might see friends less often, but the quality is higher. You make plans that genuinely nourish you. And you say yes when you mean yes. And you say no without needing a justification. Living alone can also reduce conflict. There's no daily negotiation about chores, noise, schedules, plans, family dynamics, or how to load the dishwasher correctly. That reduction in friction frees up energy for your actual life. Your creativity comes back, your curiosity comes back, and your patience comes back. And you start doing things simply because they make you feel alive. Now, I don't want to pretend that living alone is only sunshine and candles and perfectly organized pantries. There can be lonely nights, and there can be moments when you wish someone was in the next room. There can be seasons where you're sick and you'd love a second set of hands. But here's the key difference. Loneliness is a feeling, not a diagnosis. And living alone doesn't automatically mean that you're lonely. It means you have the option to create a life that includes solitude on purpose and connection on purpose. You can build routines that anchor you and friendships that support you, and a community that makes you feel seen without sacrificing the peace that you've worked so hard to create. So if you're living alone in midlife, don't treat it like a temporary waiting room. This can be a time where you learn what kind of rest actually restores you, what kind of food actually supports you, and what kind of sleep environment your body actually needs, and what kind of life feels like it fits. And if you're not living alone, but you crave the benefits, the takeaway isn't move out. The takeaway is create more intentional solitude inside your life. Protect your sleep, simplify your space, stop negotiating your basic needs down to keep everyone comfortable. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite part about having your own space? Or if living alone feels complicated right now, what would make it feel easier? Thank you so much for watching.